for last year's magazine, we haven't finished this year's yet. The Marylander Award, Maryland Pacemaker, I think, and the Columbia Gold Key Award.
Very good.
Literary Arts Awards.
Absolutely. Something to be proud of.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Aiden, tell us about yourself, please.
I'm Aiden O'Shea. I'm a 17-year-old senior. In addition to as academic, I am in the Young Democrats Club and the Philosophy Club, and I'll be attending Dickinson College next year. And I'd like to thank our principal, Dr. Jane Behringer, for coming out today.
Congratulations on your acceptance to Dickinson, too. Well deserved. And Christopher, you win the award for the most dapper guy here. Love that handkerchief, matches the tie. You're looking great. Tell us about yourself.
Hello, I'm Christopher Seeley. I'm a 17-year-old junior at Towson High School. And I would like to thank Nathan Mendelson, our alternate, for being here today, and Mrs. Brown.
Wonderful. All right. Towson, these questions are for you. Look at your monitor, if you would, please. Via dog. You won't need a dog to help you unscramble these letters and name what 11th century English lady who rode naked through the states of Coventry.
Godiva.
That's right. Time is a blank, always packing up and moving away. You can complete this observation from author Ben Hecht by adding what type of three-ring entertainment associated with P.T. Barnum and the Ringling Brothers.
Circus.
That's it. www.cavalryman.gov. If the internet had been available during the Civil War, this might have been a good address for what Confederate cavalry commander known by his first three initials, J.E.B.
Stewart.
That is right. He's a choice: freedom from arrest, freedom from fear, or freedom of the seas. Which of these choices was one of the four freedoms cited by Franklin Roosevelt in a 1941 message to Congress?
Freedom from fear.
Correct. And lastly, it is the green-eyed monster. This is the way Shakespeare describes jealousy in which of his plays in which a jealous Moor strangles his wife Desdemona.
Othello.
That is it. And also a good round for Towson. Very tightly contested match today, and of course all of our players hope to leave this playoff and go to the semifinals. In addition to trying for that, all of our teams today are taking home Baltimore Orioles home ticket games that will be good throughout the season. And don't forget that every Friday home game will be $5 student night. Show your school ID at the box office and you'll get a ticket for just $5. Log on to Orioles.com for more details. And I said the race was tight today. Let's look at the score before we get to our picture-perfect round. At this juncture, Franklin has 230, Perry Hall 220, and Towson 210. Almost a dead heat. All right, gentlemen and lady, look at your monitor, please. Our first picture is coming up. 10 points for each correct answer, 10 points off should you miss. Franklin.
George Washington.
George Washington.
No, the correct answer to that first picture was George Cornwallis. Next, at one point, steep gorges line the side of what river, the longest in China? Perry Hall.
Yangtze.
Yangtze is correct. Since the camels you see here have only one hump, Perry Hall.
Dromedary.
Dromedary is right. What's the positive value, Franklin?
36.
36.
It is 36, yes. All right. The picture is up there. What do you want to tell me who it rung in that time?
No.
It had the same, it had the number still on there.
Very good, Art. So we've reset. Here's the question for this picture. Steam and gas are always present over New Zealand's. Franklin.
What do you think? New Zealand picking up something in New Zealand.
Yes, please. What do you want to tell us?
North?
No, we were looking for the discoverer, James Cook. That's where we were heading. Next, although it depicts a beardless youth, this painting was the work of what 17th century artist whose name was given to a type of trim-pointed beard? Perry Hall.
Van Dyke.
Van Dyke is yes. Mists are common in this area of Norway that inspired what Norwegian composer noted? Yes, Perry Hall.
Grieg.
Grieg it is, yes. And lastly, the title of this painting indicates that we are looking through a window at what sea that washes the shores of the French city? Franklin.
Mediterranean?
Mediterranean, the French city of Nice. Absolutely. Good round. End of the round for Picture Perfect. And welcome back. Before we get back to our questions, a few introductions. Let's meet the faculty, coaches, and administrators at our three fine schools. There's a kind of symmetry here, 3 and 3 at each one of our schools. Let's go first to Franklin, currently with 230 points. Jason, the trio behind you, would you do the introductions?
Yes, of course. To my right is the assistant principal, Mr. Elliot Flam. Directly behind me is our advisor for its academic, Ms. Gail Lodowitz. And to my left is our principal at Franklin High School, Mr. Dean Terry.
Thank you all for joining us today. Nice to have you here. And to Perry Hall, currently in the lead with 260 points. Jeff, would you introduce the three people behind you?
Yes. To my right is our distinguished principal, Mr. Gonzalez. Directly behind me is our stellar alternate, Cameron Howard. And to my left is our team's incomparable coach, Mr. Geibel.
Wow, stellar, distinguished, incomparable. I like those adjectives. Thank you all for being here. And with 210 points at Towson, Aiden, you've got three people with you as well, not to be outdone. Who are they?
This is Mr. Kurt Alford, our advisor. Directly behind me is Dr. Jane Behringer. And to my left is Mrs. Brown, our English department chair.
Thank you all for being with us today. Nice to have you here. In our next round of questions, should our teams get all 8 questions right, we award them 25 bonus points, and we'll light up their lights as we're doing there in front of Jeff at Perry Hall. And Jeff, you know the routine. You get to choose one of these 3 packets of questions for the gentleman at Franklin. 1, 2, or 3.
Let's give them 3.
Let's give him 3, he says. All right. All right, Jason, Ross, and Joshua, these are for you. You should remind your parents that it's almost time to pay what type of tax that the IRS demands on April 15th?
Federal income tax?
That is correct, yes. Since 1066, almost all English monarchs have held their coronations in what historic London Abbey?
Westminster.
Westminster.
That is it. Though we know little about the origins of Stonehenge, few people still believe the old legend that it was built by what magician in King Arthur's court?
Merlin.
It is Merlin, yes. Look at your monitor, please. Magnesium, copper, or iron. Which of these elements will, when burned, produce an exceptionally brilliant white flame and white ash?
Number 1.
Number 1, magnesium, yes. When Muslims make their pilgrimage to Mecca, they are journeying to what country whose capital is Riyadh?
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia.
Yes, sir. And lastly, the Paris Tourist Bureau was probably not too happy in 1841 when Edgar Allan Poe published his story about murders committed by an orangutan in what Paris street? Yes, please.
Bourbon.
Bourbon? Bourbon. No, the murders of the Rue Morgue. Rue Morgue. Look at your monitor, please. Assuming A is positive, evaluate this expression for me.
9a to the 3rd. 9a to the 3rd.
9a to the 3rd.
Yes, sir. And lastly, a forgotten poem, The Memory of the Heart, was written by what same New England senator who gave a memorable speech supporting the Compromise of 1850?
Webster. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Webster.
It is Webster. A good round for Franklin. Almost.